So let's do a quick video about the Ecoflow car installation. The Ecoflow is not in here right now because I want to talk about what I did. First of all, this is a fridge obviously, and I have the space down here for the Ecoflow Delta Pro that I bought that is also installed in my house, which means that the solar panel behind the apartment or house or whatever is actually charging the battery, but now this is for the car itself. This is not bad at all. I'm in love with this thing already. So at this car, the seat, under the seat, the left seat, there's the battery. So I could feed the cable right through here. I built this separator because I plan to sleep in the back, and I'm still in the process of renovating, as in putting insulation in. Blacked out the windows. This is going to be like some kind of stealth camper, if you're familiar with the concept. So the battery can only be in here when I'm on the move, because it's also pretty hot in summer in Japan, so I have to be careful about the heat of the batteries themselves. That fridge also has a lithium-ion battery which I can put in and remove, which is pretty handy if I don't want to bring the Ecoflow on a day trip but I want to use the fridge, right? Like you go to Costco, you can use the fridge. So I watched a video and some guy had an auxiliary battery and ran the Ecoflow off the auxiliary battery. So he had a normal one, the starter battery, the auxiliary battery, and connected was these two were connected with a volt sensitive relay, which means that only when the engine is running, the auxiliary battery actually gets power from the alternator and basically from the starter battery. And if the voltage, I believe, drops below 12.5 volt, then the auxiliary battery doesn't get charged. And I was like, yeah, I don't want an auxiliary battery because they come with a lot of headache and trouble themselves. That's the good thing about the Ecoflows, that they don't gas, right? So if I charge them, I don't have to worry about this stuff. I was thinking about putting an auxiliary battery in this car for a long time, but I thought that the Ecoflow actually solves a lot of problems that brings. So for now, there's a volt sensitive relay right here. It is connected to the main battery. I have a volt reader at the cigarette lighter, which I wired directly to the battery. So for example, even though the ignition isn't in, I can flip the switch here and charge my mobile phone while the car is off, because I used this for camping itself before. So that was like my emergency charger for the phone. 12.6 is in there now. So the inverter would jump on, but the voltage would drop to 12.5, 12.4 fairly easy just by the battery alone. So that would then cut off the inverter. What I saw on the video that I watched was that there was a tip, and the guy apparently spoke to Ecoflow support, and the best way to charge the Ecoflow Delta in the car is actually over an inverter. So not using the cigarette lighter thing, because the cigarette lighter can only achieve 110, 120 watts, but this is a 1000 watt inverter. The good thing about the Delta Pro is that you can tell the device, or you can tell the battery how much it is supposed to pull in terms of wattage. So if you haven't seen this before, and if you've been in the app, you can change the amount of watt in the app. So the battery is still behind me in my apartment in that wonderful shelf that I built. We are at 45% right now. So now the phone is connected to the Ecoflow. I find this is always a big pain in the butt to do. I don't know why, but you can see here AC charging speed is 1500 watts, and if you click on it, you have a sliding scale. Now, if you can't find this sliding scale on your app, that is because there's a switch at the back of the Ecoflow that you have to turn. Let me show you real quick. This baby's on the back here, and if it's on the top, it will only allow 1500, and if you switch it to the bottom setting, you can actually decide through the app how much it's going to draw. So now back to the fridge setting here. In case I don't have the Ecoflow with me, I can take the fridge cable, plug it into the inverter, which I've mounted to the side here because the cables were pre-cut and I don't have the crimping tool for those big cables. I didn't want to mess with that. I also mounted it with a fan up so it has a bit more access to air. If I turn this around, obviously the plugs going down here and you can turn it on. This one, which is very nice, also has a remote to turn the inverter on and off, which I hung from my mirror here, right here. So if you want to run just the fridge by itself, then you can just plug it in, start the car engine, and the fridge battery will be charged. I ran a test. I cooled it down with the AC, with the alternate current in the apartment. I cooled it down to 6 degrees, then pulled the plug when the battery was charged, and I got over 24 hours out of it. But that was in April, March-ish. So like 20 something degrees in the house, which is actually not very hot. I think it's going to be a lot hotter. You probably don't get 24 hours out of it. But for the camping that I do, and I've read up on this, I also decided against solar. I might get one of those foldable 400 watt solar panels, but they cost $1,000 in Japan right now on Amazon. And the flexible one costs only like $100 for 100 watts. So if I put 3 or 4 on the roof, then I can have the same as from the $1,000 one, but I can't adjust it, right? Let me carry the battery in. This sucker is really heavy, as you know. So this is the way the battery looks in here. I'm quite happy with it, even though obviously this is some really cheap wood insulation, but connected the cable to the inverter, but obviously it's not drawing anything because I haven't started the engine. And as you know, on the Delta Pro, the right side is the air in and the left side is the air out. It will blow out air here if the inverter runs, and the way I wanted to do it. This is why I put it on this side of the car, is because of the fly screen that I can close, and then I can leave the door open and it will blow the hot air out of it if I should use it. Now, there's no battery in the fridge, so let's plug it in. And then we go up here. Oh, does it start already? No. Let's turn it on. And the compressor did turn on, and it's usually between 40 and 50, 60, I think. So even at 45%, I've got 18 hours of compressor running. But you know, if you're familiar with the stuff, if you're still looking into this, you learn very quickly how many of these numbers are actually wrong, because like a compressor on a fridge or like an air conditioner doesn't run all the time. So if this is full, that fridge can run for days, over a week probably. Like that small 15,000 ampere battery, 15,000 milliampere battery that is in there allowed it to be cold enough for like a day. With that big sucker here, it's going to take forever to draw all the power out. But yeah, let's have a look. But let me go and turn on the car. And here we are. The first step is that it stopped at a 30 because it starts drawing 30, and this is that flow through mode that you've maybe seen. Well, now what I really find interesting is that I set it to 700, I think 700, and it is drawing the 700 and maybe adding on the 30 because it's going out. But like I really like this. I noticed before that while I was standing and idling the engine, I had the inverter set to 900 watt before, or actually the Ecoflow to draw 900, and it depleted the battery below 12.5 volt while idling with the alternator running, and the inverter actually shut off, which was quite funny. So yeah, I can charge 3 hours, half the battery is full. That's why I like 750. Yeah, now the inverter is in the off position, and when it's in the off position I can turn it on and off with the remote, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I think this is gonna be fun camping. I have a few ideas in the car. As you see, I'm working on the installation part right now. I'm also thinking about LEDs that will run off the battery here. The fridge will probably always stay in here because I can easily remove the battery, which is nice. I don't have to worry about the heat. I think the compressor can hopefully handle it. Yeah, the lights, and I'm thinking about a projector just to watch some Netflix in the middle of the mountain. But we'll see how this stuff is gonna come along. Thanks for watching, and see you guys on another video.